true for me.
Hey Albert, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm good. Looks like you got that poster stuck up behind you, big one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, speaking of that, I saw the movie this morning. I absolutely loved it. And dude, you were awesome in this movie.
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate that.
And just for the record, I saw your voice cast list, and Dynasty Warriors was one of my favorite games. So to find out that you were the voice of Jiang Wei was like super stoked also. So that just made it even more.
Putting it all together. I love it, man. That's awesome.
So my first question is, what attracted you to take on the role of our villain here?
Oh man, what attracted me to it first was who was leading the way. To be honest with you, Brian Skiba is a guy I worked with about 7 years ago, actually, exactly 7 years ago. We were on set together on a little Lifetime film, and he's just such a scrapper and is just clawing his way up through the business by just doing, just a busy cat. And he reached out to me actually not too long before we went to set to shoot this thing, and was like, "Man, I might have the role for you." Kind of a late night conversation we had about it, and he sent the script over my way, and dude, as you can imagine, having seen it, this thing is Shakespearean in a lot of ways. It's like high stakes and characters just fighting for what they need and want. And as an actor, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a character with clear motivation, with some maybe some heartbreak, pushing them forward, and strong relationships on the page that you can lift up, into dimension on the screen, and then toss in the fact that it's a period film in 1907 and it's a Western. These are some bucket list things for me, man. So it didn't take much to nudge me into it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the cast, besides you, this has one of the most awesome casts in a Western. I mean, you got Stephen Dorff, Heather Graham, Costas Mandylor, Nicolas Cage, Randall Bantakoff, William McNamara, even Sylvester Stallone's daughter's in the movie as well. I mean, this
Yeah.
cast is just phenomenal, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
that made it work. And
Yeah.
of
Yeah. It's
course,
like a prize fight, man. It's like, I'm like the kind of lone wolf amongst them, actually. Like everybody's like all these people, and like, who's this other dude, And so it was actually quite an honor to be invited to go toe to toe with those cats, because you knew it was going to be on when we got to set, and it sure was, man. They lived up to all their mighty reputations for sure.
well, I will say this, like you mentioned the big cats, and then who are you? You know what? After this movie, they better know who you are because you were a total badass in this movie.
Oh,
And
dude,
what's interesting was we first see you, you get you get hit in the eye, and I'm thinking, oh God, this is it. This is all he's gonna be in. And I'm thinking my mindset was like, all right, here comes Thomas years later. Maybe he's trying to avenge his brother or something in some ways. And then what happens halfway through, you show up, and then it's just like, holy crap, I was not expecting that. And then
yeah.
that's where the film really picks up and does so awesome with everyone involved, and that's what makes this film work.
Yeah, it was neat. I'm glad you're kind of pointing that out, because in the read of the script, I always love that when, when a writer, in this case, writer director, right,
Yeah.
gifts you with that sort of before and after right on the screen. A lot of times you're having to do that kind of that backfill work on your own and carrying it in sort of, subconsciously. But yeah, Brian gave us the gift of telling us that before story a little bit, and that gives the actor a real journey to go on, kind of, a big shift from part one to part two there. And that was one of my favorite scenes too, was the show up in town, and that initial confrontation with Dorff's character Thomas. And yeah, that was a fun night on set for sure. One of the
Yeah.
first scenes we shot together too, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I know. And what I liked was your chemistry with Steven, even though you're playing these rivals but you're brothers. So there's still kind of like, I promised I wouldn't kill you. I won't, this, you have that brother aspect, but yet it reminded me of Thor and Loki before, when they were rival brothers. And now, of course, they ended up teaming up, and, but of course that this is a West, knowing this is a Western, this is not what you're expect, but there's
Yeah.
still that dynamic between the rival brothers, and what made it work was the little twist in the story, which I'm not going to reveal, obviously, but the little subtle twist that happens, and I was just like, and I kind of sensed that was the case, but I'm like, I
Yep.
I had to know for myself this was what I thought it was, and
Gotta write it out.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that you mentioned that chemistry thing. I got to just, give props to Dorff on that one, man, because he's the kind of guy like I've been watching his career for a long time. And when I was, sent the script and then told who was going to be in this thing, you hear some names, and as an actor's actor, I love his work, man. I've been watching him do little and big things for a long time, and
Oh yeah.
just admire what he did. And so to get to show up on set and spend some time with him and learn from him was a really exciting experience. And that chemistry really came through because I got onto set, and I won't lie, man, he's an intimidating, intense human being. But it doesn't take long before you realize where all that intensity resides, and it's in his passion for his work. I mean, the guy has been on set since he was a little kid, and it is like clear as can be that he knows his way around that camera all sides, and has a real opinion about how things are going to go. And I think if you certainly the way I approached it was like, oh, this guy's going to appreciate some discipline and some focus, and I happen to appreciate that too. And so we kind of met each other there, and by the end, I could tell you, not in a dysfunctional way, like in the movie, but I kind of felt like he was my brother by the end, man. We had some good times together.
That's awesome. What would you
Yeah.
say was one of your favorite scenes to shoot in terms of your character, in terms of like not so much like the stuff with Dorf, but like outside of that, was there a favorite scene that you would say you enjoyed?
Yeah, man. I mean, absolutely. I'll tell you right now. I went home to my hotel room one night, and I was like, called up my partner. I was like, "Hey, lady, this scene that I shot tonight might be the best time I ever had on set ever." And this was the classic bad guy burst through the saloon doors, record players scratch. And I'm sitting down at a table with Costas and Billy and Scarlett and Randall and Mohammed and a bunch of other people standing around. It was probably 10 or 12 of us in that scene, a room full of extras, and we had three cameras trained on us. We had about 6, 7 pages of uninterrupted dialogue. I had a bunch of monologues in that dialogue, and there was a ton of movement. This is the kind of stuff people on the other side in the audience sometimes don't understand it. Even these little small movements, like the taking off of a hat, or the jamming of a knife in a table, the unfurling of a piece of paper, the pouring of a whiskey. That stuff all has to be choreographed. And if you're a craftsman, you want those things to line up with your lines in these really action centric moments. You're using all of that action to tell the story and to pursue your goal. So it can become quite complex, and there's a lot of room for error there. And I got to tell you, man, that night was so rare because we had so many moving parts, and they wanted to roll film on that scene top to toe without cutting. And we did, I think it was 12 or 15 takes, because they were just getting everybody's coverage. And not one person, not behind the camera, not in front of the camera, not one person stumbled in any of those takes. It was like 12-minute take, 12-minute take, 12-minute take, 12-minute take, over and over and over again. And I was like, man, this feels like a symphony, and we are playing music tonight. It was glorious. And I went home just going, I guess that's what it is to work with pros, man. That was fun. Great writing, great acting, incredible crew, makeup, hair, wardrobe. Just everybody was on their game that night. So that was my favorite scene for sure.
That's awesome. So finally, what's next for you after Gunslingers? That is there any new project that you can talk about?
Yeah, well, I've got a little project kind of in development, actually. I've got a filmmaker up in Washington. I'm really helping to get going. He cast me in a piece that he wrote, that is another period film, actually. I don't know if you'd call it a Western, but it's kind of a 1930s, and it flashes up to like 1980s. And it's a little kind of mystery thriller drama kind of thing. The perfect next step for this movie. It's kind of in the funding phase. I think it won a state like award, kind of a grant type of thing, through the Washington Filmworks organization, and I think he's in that funding phase right now. So I'm hoping that's the next one. A guy named Javier Reina is putting that together. So
I know
anybody who
him.
wants to give money, we want that to
I know
happen.
him.
Yeah, you know that guy? All
Do
right.
Justice. Yeah, he directed Do Justice, and yeah,
Yeah.
I actually interviewed him for that movie, very
Oh,
first
yeah, yeah,
movie.
yeah. Killer, man. Well, we're trying to get this thing going because I'm passionate about the script. It's a great little script. Another good writer director there. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Everyone, you gotta check out Gunslingers. It's coming out on April the 11th. A fantastic ensemble cast, a great story. And I'm telling you right now, I think Jeremy here is gonna be the breakout of this movie, because hands down, he was this total badass in it. And Jeremy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it.
Albert, my pleasure, man.
All right, you
Appreciate it.
take care.
All right. Cheers.